Hey everybody, it's Lori, and I am here today with my January reading wrap up. Now, it's already February 10th when I'm recording this because I just am not on top of things at all in 2021, but that's okay. I guess better mid February than never. So we'll go with that. I had a really rough reading month in January, and I think it took until January 20th for me to finish the first book of the month, which is insane. But I, like many people, struggled a lot the first couple weeks of the new year in waiting for political turmoil to settle down a little bit and for, sanity to return. So I guess that's the reason. But so yeah, I read 6 books. None of them were huge books or anything. It's not like there's a real good reason why I read 6 books. It's just that's all I could do. And I've read close to that in the first 10 days of February. So hopefully my February reading wrap up is a lot more interesting. So, anyway, to get started, we'll talk about the first book I listened to. And this is because I was having quite a bit of a reading slump. I went to a book group that I'm part of on Facebook and asked for recommendations for short, fun books that didn't take too much brain power because I didn't have any. And this was recommended to me by multiple people. And it was really great. So the book is called Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley. And this is the story of a woman who is a spinster. She lives with her brother, and they live on a farm, and he does the farm work, but he also has written some books. So he'll go off and do research for his books and just leave her behind to just deal with everything. And she's kind of fed up with it. And then one day, when her brother is gone, this man shows up with this traveling book sales wagon called Parnassus on Wheels. And he wants to sell it to her brother. And she's like, no, because then he's going to, ditch me again and I'm going to be stuck here doing all the farm chores while he goes and has an adventure. And so what ends up happening is she buys it so that her brother will not, and decides to go on an adventure of her own. So she does, and it's just a cute story. I highly recommend it. It's got a very cute ending. It's just a happy sort of book, and I just related so much to this, chubby, spinstery farm woman, even though I'm not a spinster. We had a lot in common other than that, so really cute. I highly suggest Parnassus on Wheels. It's, I think, a 4 or 5 hour audiobook, so I just listened to it in one afternoon and finally got a book done in the month of January. Next up, I finished our first book for American literature for my girls' homeschool. I just read the books along with them so that we can, talk about them or whatever. This one, Eva ended up sending screenshots or pictures of pages because she just thought the beginning of this book was so hilarious. So my husband also ended up listening to this as well. And I did listen to this. I don't know if I even started it in the book. I think I just picked up an audio copy, but I have a paperback copy here. It's The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I read this in school a long, long time ago, and I didn't really have any feelings one way or the other about it that I remember. But I have a feeling that I didn't read the entire thing because the first part of this, the first 2 hours of the audiobook, and it's like an 8-hour audiobook, so that's a big chunk of the book, is like an introduction. So it took 2 hours, and then chapter 1 took 3 minutes or something. So yeah, the first 53 pages of this book is kind of like an introduction to the story almost, and it's hilarious. That's the best part of the whole book. I still enjoyed the Scarlet Letter story, probably more than I did back in high school, just being older and understanding a lot more about life. But the beginning of this was great, so I highly recommend the intro to The Scarlet Letter. And if you haven't read The Scarlet Letter, it's a good one to read, but the intro is just fabulous. Another book that I read in, half an afternoon is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackey. This is a graphic novel, and it's got really beautiful illustrations, and the text is all kind of inked in, which can make it a little hard to read sometimes, if, because it's just not printed text, it's handwritten. Not terribly hard, but every once in a while I was like, what's that word? Oh, yeah. And it's like a story of friendship and a story of purpose and a story of belonging. And it has a mole who really likes cake. It's really cute. I think this would be great to read with your kids, great for your kids to read, great for pretty much anyone to read. I really enjoyed it myself. It may have made me cry a little bit, so very good book. The next book I also listened to, but I also have a paperback copy here, and that is The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. This is a science fiction Jesuits in space sort of thing. So it's a Catholic book. The main character is a Jesuit priest who has come back from this trip to another planet. And there's a lot of drama. He's they need to have some sort of trial to find out what happened that caused him to be in the situation he was in at the time of his rescue. And it's such a good book. It jumps back and forth a lot. One of the things that's kind of funny is I think that the backwards time when they're just getting ready to, outfit their asteroid ship and go to this planet, I think is in like the 2020s. Yeah, 2019. So we should be going to other planets now. But other than that, that was the thing that just kind of caught my, wow. At the time this was written, it seemed possible that we'd be going to other planets in, the 2020-ish era. But alas, not so much. And it was written in 96. So I guess in 96, 2020 seemed a lot further away. In 96, I was starting my senior year in high school. I am so old. Anyway, I really, really enjoyed this book. There is a sequel to this book called Children of God, I think. And I've downloaded on my phone, but I haven't started it yet. I've been on a bit of a brain break, so I'm not quite ready for more Jesuits in space. I don't even know if the Jesuits go to space in the second book yet, but Anyway, this is such a good book. Yeah, I highly recommend. And the next book I read is the first book in a series, and I had read the 12th book in this series back in December, because I was just looking for kind of a Christmassy book, and it was a Christmassy book that a lot of people that I follow on Goodreads were reading at the time, and I thought, I'll read it too. So the book is 16 Lighthouse Road by Debbie Macomber. And this is this Cedar Cove series of books, and they're Harlequin romance novels. I am not normally a romance novel kind of person, and I will have a lot more to say about this series in my February wrap-up, because I just finished the 6th book in the series last night. So I will probably be done with the series by the end of February, I'm guessing, unless I just get totally bored and give up. But I'm not the biggest romance novel person, but what I do appreciate about these novels is they're kind of set in a smallish town. She calls it a small town. It's got like 7,000 people. That's like kind of a big town to us. But they're all interconnected, and because I never see anyone anymore, I'm always out of the loop with local gossip. Not that I'm the world's biggest gossip, but I'm used to hearing things, and I don't hear anything anymore. So I'm just kind of virtually living in this fictitious little town in Washington near Seattle. I'm pretending that I'm there. No, but it's fun because all the characters kind of interact and you go from one character to another character. And there's a lot of like mysterious stuff that happens. So, like a arson case and a dead guy at the bed and breakfast and a husband that disappears, that sort of thing. So I'm in it for the like what's going to happen next mystery stuff, not so much for the romance novel stuff. But it's fun. It's light reads. They're like, I can finish one in about 4 hours, and that's about the mental capacity I have at the moment. So it's been working for me. And then the last book that I read in January was Body Kindness by Rebecca Scritchfield. And this was a book that I had learned about from a YouTuber whose first name is Colleen and whose last name I can't remember, but I will link her channel down below. She talks a lot about intuitive eating and that sort of thing, and I actually started watching some of her videos when I was researching a little bit about the company Noom to see if that was something that might work for me. So I actually kind of appreciated her take on things. And so I'm trying to read up a little bit on being kinder to myself and letting myself be, rather than being upset with who I am and what I look like and that sort of thing. So anyway, Body Kindness was pretty good. There was some stuff in there that just was a little out there for me, but that's okay. Not everything is going to be ideal for me, but it just talks about how you can work on being kinder to yourself in many different ways. So there were quite a few different chapters in there. I was reading this one, a library copy, on my phone. I've been reading on my phone a lot recently, which is super weird for me because, like, I hardly ever read things on my phone, but I'm reading on my phone a lot right now. But it was in a certain library app that I don't use very often and is not very good. So there were a whole bunch of charts in there, but the library app doesn't have any way to enlarge a page, so I just couldn't read them at all, because once you shrink a normal size page down to a phone and then give it to somebody who's in her 40s with bad vision, I couldn't read any of the charts. So I might have gotten a little bit more out of it had I been able to read the charts. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. It gave me some things to think about, but I don't know that I'd recommend it unless you're really interested in the subject. So those are the books that I read in January. I hope you enjoyed listening to what I read and what I thought about it. I guess that is about it for today, so feel free to like and subscribe if you so desire. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye!